This message is intended as a reminder that we are not licensed professionals, not psychiatrists or psychologists. If you have a serious problem, please seek professional help. The National Suicide Hotline is 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255.
There's some damsels in the DM.
Yes, queen.
Tell us what's the vibe. There's some damsels in the DM. Please tell us what's the vibe. DMs, yeah we see them, yeah we read them. DMs, we don't need them, we just leave them.
Please.
Yeah.
It's going down in the DMs. Bye.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Damsels in the DMs.
Hi.
Hello.
How's everyone doing?
Oh,
Chill.
just chilling, just
Chilling.
enjoying life.
Yeah.
Just
After a long
Great
night, it's
Sunday.
nice to just relax, enjoy the smooth energy, just recovery. It's nice to have a
somebody's
Yeah.
recovering better. I'm really well.
I am not doing,
Yeah.
not doing so well right now. Enjoying the recovery of what?
Yeah, I've had no recovery today. I need some recovery.
I need to pass out as soon as this is over.
Literally. But on that positive note, today we're talking about cultural differences in dating. My two pals here can attest to that. So, I mean, just getting into it, I guess either one of you could answer this. How do you feel like there's been pressure in your dating life, coming from your parents and societal expectations in general?
There's been a lot. I mean, the older I get, I'm 28 now, which in my parents' eyes, it's time to get married. But they have been putting a lot of pressure for me to find an Indian guy and marry within the race, which has always been a thing for them.
So they care about it.
They care about it a lot. And at first I used to be why, question, why does, and I still question, why does it have to be that way? Because I know that I probably won't end up with an Indian guy. I mean, I'm open to it, but I'm not I don't know. I just don't think it's going to happen. And I get why they want that. It's because, it's just easier because they speak the same language, it's the same culture. It's just going to be easier for the person to fit in with the family. But then again, my parents live in Africa, which is so freaking far away.
Yeah.
We're only probably going to see them twice a year. So I don't understand why it really matters that I marry someone who they think is someone with their choice. But yeah, there has been a lot of pressure, even in the Indian community. There's so many different types of Indians that my parents would prefer marrying a Gujarati guy. I mean, my brother married a Punjabi girl, and that is a different state. And even my mom would be like, "Oh, if only she was Gujarati."
Really?
And then she got over it, and when they became serious. But yeah, they're super particular about the exact place that the guy should be from.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that Indian dating show? Did you feel like it accurately represented it?
It did a little bit. I'm not sure because I didn't grow up in India. I literally have no connection to what that must be like, because our family is very different from that. So I wouldn't have any idea. But
Was that filmed in India?
I think so.
I thought it was filmed in DC.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, I think
Oh
it
my
was
gosh, you're so
DC.
right. They were actually, but they had they were filming in America and in India because she would also help. I remember she helped this Indian girl in Houston and then another girl somewhere else in New Jersey. But I feel my parents are not like that. They're kind of just find someone on your own. But if you want, we'll be there to help you. And Indians do this thing called biodata, which is it's literally a resume with your picture on it. And then everything about you, literally a resume for dating. And I haven't gotten one made yet. And I'm really weirded out that my parents haven't made me make one yet. But I remember.
You make it yourself?
Yeah.
I'm dead.
I'm never going to make one, by the way. I'm just saying I'm never going to make one. My parents know that that's never going
And
to
then
happen.
they send out your resume to people?
Yeah. To all their relatives. If they know a guy, they have any friends. It's crazy.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's wild.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny, honestly.
Are there relatives that may have gone through this experience, or
There are My older cousins, they were more like by the book, and married like the exact guys that their parents like wanted them to marry.
Are you close with them?
I am, yeah. And they married really cool people. Like I actually really like their husbands. But they had to make like a biodata and kind of like do it that way, which is really crazy.
Have they shared with you what that experience was like?
No, they're a lot older than me, so I'm not really.
Oh.
We never really had a conversation about that. I feel like now I wanted to like talk about it because I'm now the age that they were when they, like were first doing all of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know my parents, like for them, they don't understand the whole dating culture because they had an arranged marriage. So they basically met a week before their wedding. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And my mom was older actually than like the marrying age. She was like 28 when she got married.
That's older than the marrying age?
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
Yeah.
We're moving slow, huh?
We're moving slow.
Wow.
But okay, question. So you feel like it's not going to happen for you marrying an Indian guy because of lack of options in the US or because you don't want to?
My preferences, like personal preferences, I'm not really like, I don't want to say this because it's kind of like shitty of me to say it, but I'm not into, it's like a personal choice. Like I'm not really attracted to Indian men. And I know that's like generalizing because like it's a big group of people, but I want like my children to have two different cultures and like, like, I don't know, experience like two different sides of the world, like my side and then wherever my husband's going to be from. But yeah, I'm not like, I don't really care about marrying an Indian guy. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like also probably as like generations go on, people care about it less.
Yes, exactly. To me, that's not important. To me, it's like what the person's like, 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 do they have stable income? Are they good people?
Passionate.
Well, they bad. Do they have like a personality?
Yeah.
And then am I attracted to them? That really is like, it does matter. But yeah, I really I don't care about marrying with like, I really don't care. I feel like if someone wanted to learn about my culture, they would learn about it.
Right.
There's a lot of Indian guys right now that don't even know how to speak their own language or like, they don't know anything about their culture. I'm like, that's the same, there's nothing different from them. And like, suppose a white guy, like it literally, there's no difference except for the people, they're brown.
That's interesting because I remember like having a lot of conversations. Well, at least like when I was in school where the topic of like, how Latino are you? At the time, we're just like, what makes a person more this or that? And it's like, well, do you speak the language? Like, do you like recognize this particular food or whatever it may be? Like, I mean, it sounds like there definitely has to be like a lot of those sort of parameters or expectations within your experience.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like the Latin culture and like Indian culture is very similar in that sense. Because it's like, you just have to be like, you should know your like culture, your background, like where you're from and the food and all that. Like, I think it's really important to know all those things. Because it is like, it's really cool to be from somewhere else and like have that culture.
Yeah.
And so embrace that. But I would love to like marry someone with a totally different culture to me, like I want to learn something new. Like I want to be with someone who like isn't the same person as me.
And to be able to teach that person too, and like just kind of share in that growth of like, okay, like, whoa, our brains are like increasing in wrinkles and gray matter.
No, I feel like that's such an interesting point too, because like we worked in dual language, right? For the longest time. And I feel like in the dual language community and in what you're talking about and like understanding two different cultures, the more relationships that we see continuing on happening, like the world is just going to become more accepting.
Yeah.
Because like kids are going to be more understanding of different types of cultures. And I also feel like for white people, like you don't think about the importance of understanding other cultures all the time.
Yeah.
Like, a white person like will just marry another white person and you don't like think twice about like, oh, what's that background? Like you're never just a white person, right? Like maybe you have a German heritage, you have whatever, like Lithuanian or whatever.
Yeah.
But people don't like share in that same type of like community cultural sense.
Yeah. It's like not the importance of figuring that out for them. I feel like it's not really a priority.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have to.
They don't have to. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is very true. But yeah, what about you?
It's interesting. Within my family, there's I guess there is pressure that may be unspoken, you know, that it's like, oh, like, you know, you come from this background, you are to seek a partner who has a similar experience, has a similar upbringing, you continue the legacy sort of thing. But there also have been relatives within my family on both sides who have married partners that are not of the same either Mexican or Puerto Rican background. So I think it's just a part of like how a family grows, you know, where like there might be some initial like eyebrows raised from certain relatives as far as just like, oh, who is this person entering the family in X way, but over time, I mean, it's really cool to see like how family, and I mean, fortunately for my family, I think at least like it does seem like, you know, at least there are some like cordial energies where it's like it's not like negative vibes. It's like, you know, everyone can coexist in the same space. But I mean, I do recognize that that is not the universal experience of other families who might be super strict about like, you know, you come from this background, like you should find a partner that has the same or yeah.
And what is Danny?
He's Colombian.
Oh, he's Colombian.
Oh, we love Colombia.
Yes. Did you know they are supposed to have the clearest Spanish?
Really?
We were talking about dual language. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
They are supposed to, well, from what I've heard, have like the cleanest and most articulate form of Spanish
Cuban
language.
is the hardest for me to understand by
Oh
far.
my God, they're like Puerto Ricans. They chop words in half.
Yeah.
And, replace vowels and consonants.
I have no idea what there's like. When I went to Cuba, I was like, I like speak Spanish well, and this is hard for me. But like in Spain, it's so much easier for me because that's how I learned Spanish. And Colombian feels easy to me too because like I had Spanish teachers growing up that were Colombian.
Do you both speak Spanish?
Yeah.
So would Colombian be something that would be like tolerated by your parents because it's like, you know, he speaks Spanish, blah, 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 or because it's not like under the Mexican Puerto Rican umbrella?
Yeah, I mean, for them, I think it's less about like compatibility on like the ethnicity level. It's more about like the happiness factor.
Go ahead.
I love that.
Yeah.
My parents need to learn that.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's me who's getting married. Like, it's not like you guys are going to be marrying this person and having babies with this person.
Yeah.
You know, like, are you going to be waking up to this person's face every morning? No. So you don't need to have a say in that.
And it's kind of funny, like, that parents still maintain those expectations when like with somebody like you, they sent you off to England.
Exactly.
And then they send you off to America. So it's like kind of only natural that you're going to like not like you don't even know that many Indian people other than like your family at this point.
I didn't I mean I didn't even grow up in India. Like I don't they can't have those expectations for me as what they had from their parents because they mostly grew up in India, you know, like my mom till she was 27, 28, then she moved to Botswana, but my dad, I think, moved when he was a lot younger, but still, it's like you raised me in Botswana and then you sent me off to London when I was little and then to America. Yeah. Like there's, you know, like there's a lot of diversity that I've experienced. Like I barely experienced any Indian people other than my family. So how are you going to expect me to settle down with an Indian guy? Like it's just not going to really, I don't really care for it.
Right. Or to lead with that in mind as like the sole like guiding force for like your potential partner. That
Have you introduced them to previous boyfriends before?
No.
Oh, never?
No.
Wow.
There was my mom. So the guy that I dated in college, he's actually from back home. He's family friend, and he went to Purdue with me, and he's Indian. So my mom knew about that, but I could never tell my dad. I don't know why. I just feel really like awkward telling my dad these things. And then we broke up. So like I was like, there's never really been a reason for me to tell them. But after that, all my boyfriends have been non-Indian guys, like, you know, a Moroccan or I don't know, Americans. But it would be no use to introduce someone to my parents unless I know that this is the guy that I'm going to marry. Otherwise, like if it's just a boyfriend, why go through that fight when we you know, like it's just a boyfriend, like we're probably going to break up. Maybe not. But until I get super serious with someone, I think that's when I'm going to introduce them to my parents. But for now, it's just a fight that I don't want to have. Like literally, I told him, I was like, I'd rather be single for the rest of my life than marry someone that like marry someone for you.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah. Like I'd rather have that because it's like, it's my happiness at the end of the day. It's not theirs. So,
Absolutely.
you know, like I don't understand why they need to have a say in.
Would they care about you dating non-Indian guys? Like if you were like, look, mom, I'm not
Yeah,
marrying
they would
this guy.
definitely care.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, they just would be like, what's the point? You know?
Yeah.
They'd be like, what's the point of dating someone if you're have no plans, intentions of marrying them? Which I agree. I mean, now I'm trying to date just to date and get the experience of dating, but I agree. Like, I don't think I need to be dating people if I don't have an intention, if I don't see a future with them, it's just a waste of time.
Right.
Mhm.
I'd rather just focus on myself until the right person comes through. But yeah, I don't think I would introduce anyone, Indian or not, until I think this is the person for me.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Because
that's
also
best
the
way.
parents get involved a lot. They really get involved. But
Yes,
my
they
friend
do.
brought up
Go
a
ahead.
good point, and I think it's just the hypothetical. Like, I don't have an amazing person right now that I'm dating who is not Indian. So that's why, like, my parents are just like, it's a hypothetical. It's like if I had someone like amazing and brought them like in front of my parents, like I think my parents would get over it once they see like how amazing the person is. But I think it's because like it's such a hypothetical right now. Like they're like, no, you don't have anyone. Like we want Indian.
Are there a lot of Indian people in Botswana?
Mhm.
Okay, so there are Indian options.
There's
you in
no
Botswana.
options for me. They're all like older and married. Like they've come from India to work for companies over there.
Oh,
Yeah.
so they
The
would
only
send-
eligible bachelor is my ex.
But like, what's their plan here? Like, are they trying to either get you to find an Indian guy in America, or are you supposed to go to India?
No, America. They know that I would never marry someone from India. It's just it's too.
They send your bio thingy through India.
They know I would kill
She's
them.
never been to this country.
They know that if I caught them with a biodata with my name on it, they would be in a lot of trouble. Like
You
I
probably
just
have
don't
like
work.
the number one biodata like model. Like,
It's just crazy because like there's so many beautiful Indian women out there, and it's just like the compatibility is just. It's like we don't have the same equal hot Indian guys. Like, come on. What? Like, at least make it even. Like, fuck.
I am immediately looking at whatever they're called.
Biodata.
Yeah.
Ask your Indian
biodata.
friends about it.
I'm crying. That is so funny.
She has more Indian friends than I do.
I do. They've never mentioned a biodata to me. I don't know what they're playing.
Maybe they have chill parents. I mean, my parents left India with that traditional sense and then went to Botswana, which is an even smaller country. And so they kept their traditional thinking. They didn't move to America and then like experience the world changing. Like Botswana hasn't changed. And they, like their mindset hasn't been able to progress because it's not America. It's not a progressive like country.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if they moved to America, they would understand like, okay, like there's different, like, it's fine. Like do whatever you want. But I think they're still stuck in that like old school thinking.
Are your parents religious, or do they have any like religious interest in who you date?
They don't have any religious interests in terms of who I date, but the topic does come up only in terms of like God.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Would they be supportive if you married your boyfriend?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're like totally on board for that.
Yeah,
aspect
for
of it.
sure. For sure. I mean, yeah, definitely. It hasn't happened often, but there was one particular person or relative that like told me flat out, like he did not support the idea of me being married to like a man specifically. Yeah. So, I mean, that changed things. I mean, no one else in my family really like was that outright. Like, I mean, if anything, like it was always the opposite. But like,
then that's all I need.
yeah, that was
for you
really
to tell me
surprising.
you don't support me. Like, okay.
That was really surprising, but I mean, to each their own.
Yeah, I remember on my 18th birthday, I was waiting to hear like from colleges at this point. And I was out to dinner at a Chinese restaurant with my uncle. My uncle is super religious. And as my 18th birthday present, he gave me a Bible. And I am like Snapchatting this, like I'm like laughing hysterically. Like I'm like, hey, like, what's up, guys? You know what I mean? Like I was like, this is like a hilarious gift, but I'm like thriving about the gift, right? I come home and my USC acceptance letter is on the front porch. And I am like, oh shit.
Oh.
God is like trying to tell me that not to laugh at him. Like, oh, he didn't want me to Snapchat this Bible. They're like trying to be like, oh, we're really in power
Like,
up
we're
here.
watching you, girl.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like,
Was she
okay.
watching?
Yeah.
Oh,
They
yeah,
are watching.
They're watching.
Them be watching.
Yeah.
And them was trying to tell me something. Let me tell you that.
So actually there was this one time a few years ago, I was on the dating apps and I saw this really hot guy that had on his bio, it said he was Hindu.
Mhm.
He was white Australian. And I was like, this is interesting. I was like, maybe this could work with the parents. Like I always try to find a way to like make it work for the parents, you know? And I was like, I think this could work. Like religion is really important to them too. And they do want me to marry someone who is Hindu. I'm not like, I'm not religious. I'm very spiritual. Like I believe in God, but I don't know. I think it's a very personal.
Yeah, you don't have like
private,
parameters
like,
around it.
yeah. I think it's a very personal thing. Like people, I don't know why we talk about this and why it's like institutionalized. So anyway, I was like, okay, this is interesting. This guy says he's Hindu. He's like white. Like I feel like this is, win-win. So I start seeing him and he literally like, I was asking him questions about like Hinduism and he didn't really know anything about it. I'm like, why are you saying that you're like Hindu? Like, and then you don't really know. He was more like, he was just very like floaty and like, like hippie dippy type guy. And I think he just thought that was like Hinduism. And I'm like, oof, like, no.
Oh, no.
He's like super into like yoga and meditation. I'm like, that is
He
like,
thought that was it.
yeah, basically.
Oh my God.
And then he would try to like school me on like Hinduism and stuff. And I'm like, dude, I grew up Hindu. Like,
Yeah.
like I'm,
Like, don't offend me. Like,
Yeah.
are you kidding?
yeah, the stuff that you're saying is just like, you can't claim to be a religion and not know that much on it. Or like, fine, if you grew up with it, fine. But like, if you just all of a sudden like, I'm Hindu and then think, like, I don't know. It was very weird. Making
I
up
can
your
imagine.
own, like what you think Hinduism is and saying that you're Hindu just because you like are heavy into like meditation and like he used to do like LSD and like and shrooms and stuff. And I was like, dude, don't associate that
great,
with my
but, like,
religion.
don't-
right,
no.
My goodness.
Don't associate
These
that at all.
people. Yeah. It's like,
He just like
almost,
created his own religion and called it Hindu.
yeah, basically. And it was just really weird. I don't think he fully knew what he was. And he was like trying to be like Buddhist. And then like, he was very lost, but it was a disappointment because I was like, damn, this could have been really good, but no.
Alas.
Just a white guy using Hinduism.
Freaking
Claiming
white guy.
To get girls.
That is some appropriation bullshit.
That
right
How do
there.
you feel about like when it, like the shirts and stuff? They're like namaste in bed, like appropriating like yoga culture.
I think the whole yoga culture has been appropriated, been taken from Indians by white people. Like white people literally run the yoga industry, and I'm like, whatever. They've definitely appropriated that whole culture. So I do find it weird when I am being taught yoga by a white person, or when white people like try, like the yoga teacher like is trying to pronounce, all the words, but they're in Sanskrit and they can't pronounce it. They're very like aren't using the correct pronunciations for it.
God.
I'm just like, you just like go back and learn. Like, if you want to pursue this, like go to India, spend some time in India, learn how to actually say the words properly.
Yeah.
And then come back and be a teacher. Don't just do some bullshit course over here taught by another white person. Like go learn from an Indian guru and then come and teach me. Then I'll respect you. But all those namaste and bad, or even like Coachella, like people using like, like the bindis, like all that. It's like guys wearing like people wearing sombreros on like Cinco de Mayo and stuff. I'm like, oh my God, please don't do that. Halloween, dressing up as Native Americans, like all of that. I'm just like, can we stop with this?
Seriously.
I actually had one of my friends, I didn't know how to talk about it to them, so I didn't. But I wish I brought it up because for Halloween this past year, he dressed up in Indian outfit. And I saw his stories and I was like, are you wearing an Indian outfit? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, my culture is not your costume. And it's 2020.
What was he even wearing to do that?
Like a full like Indian outfit that you would wear to a wedding.
Oh, wow.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And he just dressed up as an Indian?
An Indian.
And for
And
him
I'm
to
like, what are you
be
trying
so
to do?
passive in his
Yeah.
admittance of like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that is what I'm like.
And he was
what?
like, okay,
He was
yeah.
okay with it. And it sucks because I really love this person. I know they didn't have any bad intentions doing it, but like educate yourself more.
Yeah.
For real.
You know, like just be educated. Like you can, it's 2021 now, but like
Yeah.
it was end of 2020 when he did this. And I'm like, by now you should know not to use other people's cultures as your costumes.
Mm.
We were just talking about the importance of constructive criticism.
Mhm.
How like we were talking with Amalia about how like I'm trying to phrase this. Like when people give an opinion that's unwarranted, like it's really frustrating, you know?
Yeah.
But at the same time, like it is good to have a care and a sense of how people feel about you.
Yeah.
Because like then you can try to be better. So
Mhm.
like when somebody does like give you a criticism like that, like if it's coming from a place of like I'm trying to help you so that like you don't make these mistakes like going forward.
Yeah.
And like that person, he's like posting his costume on social media. So you're
Mhm.
kind of like leaving yourself open
Yeah.
to criticism at that point.
And I responded to his story. I was like, is that an Indian outfit? And he was like, yep, ha ha ha. And I was like, as a Halloween costume? And he didn't respond.
Damn.
And then he would like keep responding to my, like reacting to my stories with like heart eyes and stuff. And I'm like, dude, like, I don't know how to have this conversation with people. Like, it's really hard for me to like confront people about like cultural stuff because I feel like I don't want to make anyone else feel awkward. But it's like, fuck, you're like, you know, disrespecting my culture in a way that you don't think you're disrespecting it. But I don't know. I need to be better at having these conversations.
But it's absolutely frustrating when
Yeah.
you are put in a position where you kind of feel forced to be an educator
Mhm.
and a representative of the entire community.
Which sucks because why do we have to do that?
Right.
You know?
Which goes back to what we were talking about earlier when
Yeah.
we were referencing where like someone may not even has more than likely not had to think about
Yeah.
the privileges
Yeah,
that he
exactly.
has been granted. And that's just like the unfortunate circumstance of just how race has functioned in
Yeah.
this country. I mean, it's wild.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think that's like why it's important to have allies
Mhm.
because like allies are people who can like cross the bridge to other white people who might be more conservative minded and like not always entirely understanding things that like, you know, more culturally sensitive white people do understand.
Right.
And it's like that's why it matters that you do feel comfortable like speaking up and calling people out because it's like when you are open and if you can phrase it in like a way that's kind and like just trying to help somebody, then it actually really does make a difference.
Yeah, for sure.
It's also hard to anticipate and not to like, I mean, diminish what you're saying because like what you're saying is completely true, but it's hard, I think, sometimes to be in that position and kind of anticipate what the person's reaction is going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it
could go really poorly.
It could go really well and it could go like totally opposite.
And the worst you can ever do is call a white person racist.
Oh my God. Right.
That is like the worst insult ever. Like if you call a white person racist, they will like try to like die.
Right.
You know, like, it's like the worst thing you can ever say to a
Completely.
white person.
Completely. And it's like, then it's like, we're put in the, or whoever's being like the person calling out, it's like they're the ones who are forced to apologize for like this revelation.
Yeah.
It's like actually like
Yeah.
there's some reworking that needs to be done here. Like
It is ridiculous. I feel like I always have felt very bad. And like I felt shitty trying to not call out white people when they do something bad, but like, yeah, pretty much when I call out white people from stuff that they do that's very ignorant, I feel guilty. Like I really have anxiety all day because I'm like, God, this person's gonna hate me. Like, you know, like what if like my message, like they think I'm just being like another, like a crybaby, basically. But then that's also like gaslighting everything, you know?
Right.
So I don't know. It's still like a weird, I'm still working on myself to like not feel guilty or not feel bad about calling white people out, especially people that I personally know, because I don't want to hurt their feelings because
pretty much.
it's like right or wrong. And I want to be an educator,
Right.
even though I don't have to be. But if it's people that I know and they're doing something wrong, like you have to.
Right.
Yeah. I actually think that like when everything happened with Black Lives Matter and like a lot of the books like White Fragility, for example, talks about how we're all racist. And like we all have preconceived judgments. So we're all in the process of unlearning. And if we can like all be in the process of unlearning, I actually think that's really freeing. Like if I can like, you know, tell somebody like, hey, like, I think what you're doing was insensitive. This is why it could be offensive to somebody like from that culture, that whatever the issue is. Like, if you can call it out in a way, but you're like acknowledging that you've had to like go through your own process and for unlearning preconceived notions, like to me, that's actually freeing.
Yeah, I definitely think all cultures have their preconceived notions of other cultures.
Yeah.
For example, I have a native girl and I had a native friend in college, like sophomore year, be like, why do all Indians stink? And she was one of my best friends.
Damn.
And I'm like, what? Like,
Yeah.
you're saying that to me?
Tragic.
Yeah, as a friend. And also you're native. Like, why are you putting other people down? Like, what is this? And then I had another Black friend, a girlfriend, tell me, it sucks that all you beautiful Indian women have to marry like really ugly Indian men. I was like, we don't have to.
Yeah.
Like, what are you saying? Like,
and there are beautiful members within the community as well.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's what a fucking horrible thing to say.
Yeah. Like, you can't say that to me, dude. Like, please. And then I saw this one video recently of this Black girl saying that I had some Indians move in across like the hallway and they stink. Like literally they keep making curry. And then this Indian girl called her out and she's like, first of all, don't do that. Second of all, like, you don't even know if they're making curry, and curry is not the only Indian dish that Indian people make. Like, you know, there's also curry is not even like, you can have Thai curry. You can have like other types of cultures that have curry.
Right.
It's not an Indian specific thing. But like, why do you have to go and do that?
It's tough. I mean, like, I can definitely understand how an inflammatory like remark will ignite some sort of response, and then like it just creates like this wild banter that doesn't ever resolve anything.
Yeah.
And it's just it's wild to see how like something as simple as a post can like really ignite some controversy that shouldn't even like be there in the first place. But of course, it's a natural consequence of how language has been used and leveraged and manipulated in a way that has like gotten us to where we are now, unfortunately. But I mean, on the bright side, we are in a cool position to like move forward and facilitate conversations to kind of break down these preconceived notions that have been the result of conditioned thought that is no fault of ours, but at the same time like requires work of unlearning that you were talking about earlier. Cheers to us trying to take that journey and move forward. I mean,
cheers.
That's pretty dope.
Hell yeah.
Right.
Cheers. I was going to say if only we had something to cheers with, but I think I'm done with alcohol.
Yeah.
Well, I might be heading out for a drink myself. My goodness.
She's ready until like Wednesday.
Yeah. Come Wednesday.
Talk to her then.
I'm going to be hungover for the next 4 days.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Damsels in the DMs.
Until next time.
It's going down in the DMs. Bye.
Bye.
DMs, we don't need them. We just leave them.
Please.
Yeah.
It's going down in the DMs. Bye.